Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we have a Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry review for you. Now, I know I'm a little bit late to this, apologies, been a little unwell the past few weeks, but we have seen the Blacktalons Warcry rules, so I wanted to go through them like we have all the other warbands that have been coming out recently for the game, talk a little bit about them, talk about what I think about them, and whether or not they're going to be any good on the tabletop. And so, with this, the Blacktalons, this is a really interesting warband. First of all, this is a bunch of named characters. Very similar, I guess you could say, to the Bladeborn warbands, that are the Warhammer Underworlds warbands gaining rules in Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. I think this is really fun, because the Blacktalons for me, you know, the whole idea that they're Sigmar's assassins and all this going after very specific targets, I think they are something that really sits in Warcry as their home. I know they've gotten rules for Age of Sigmar and people have been like really excited to use them in Age of Sigmar, but I think Warcry is where something like this truly is going to shine and sort of do what you expect it to do on the tabletop more than anything. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, we have this. The Blacktalons will be their own brand new warband. They have their own thing. They've got the Blacktalons rune mark, so they're not, you know, part of the Thunderstrike Chamber or anything. They obviously, though, are from the Grand Alliance Order, so they could be taken as allies individually. You can take each one of them as an individual ally, so there's no need to take the whole set of them. But the box set does get you a full warband like all the other Warcry warbands, which is really cool. And so, let's start by looking at the abilities that we have for the warband. The first of these is a reaction called Shield of Azir. A fighter can make this reaction after they're targeted by an attack action, but before the hit rolls are made, count up to 2 critical hits from that attack as regular hits instead. If that fighter has the hero rune mark and is within 6 inches of another friendly fighter with a Blacktalons rune mark, and the champion or destroyer rune mark, count up to 3 instead. This is a really, really good reaction. The fact that you can gain extra ones when you have the hero, champion, or destroyer rune mark nearby a hero is really, really cool. This can be, you know, super, super powerful and keep your fighters in the fight for so much longer. Considering that Stormcast generally have high wounds, high defense values, the fact that you can stop crits, which are generally going to be a lot of warbands' ways to really go through on you, is powerful. You know, you can use this to set up when your opponent's maybe using many of those sort of triples we see which cause crits to work on 5s. Use this when your opponent spends those triples to get that ability out and sort of spend reactions to essentially waste their triples is really cool. But we then go through the base abilities. Now we have 4 abilities. We have Storm of Justice. You can pick a friendly fighter with a Blacktalons rune mark within a number of inches equal to the value of this ability. That fighter makes a bonus move or bonus attack. This is really cool because we are going to be generally a really low model count warband. Obviously, your order, so you can bring in allies to this. So that's something worth like sort of mentioning. There are definitely ways you can bring in some other cheaper fighters. You know, you could replace one of the Blacktalons with 2 cheaper heroes from the Order faction if you want. But like bonus moves and bonus attacks when you are so light on bodies is really, really useful. Triple for headshot, we have 1 major shooter in the force, and so add the value of this ability to damage points allocated to enemy fighters by each hit and critical hit for the next ranged attack. Solid triple there. And this is for the next activation, which is really cool. Not just the next action, so really, really nice. Triple for Nebula Sea Fog. Until the end of the battle round, subtract 1 from the attacks characteristic of attacks made by enemy fighters while they're within 6 inch. A really good defensive triple like this, combined with the Shield of Azir in a turn where you need to hold, make this warband really powerful at like holding zone sort of games of Warcry. This could be a really, really potent sort of combination of abilities used. This makes it so hard to shift you off objectives or take treasure off you if you're carrying them, or indeed controlling sort of areas of the battlefield. Lastly, we have our quad though, and this is a Wind Rider. A fighter can use this ability if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by them. You remove the fighter from the battlefield, then set them up on a platform or the battlefield floor more than 6 inches away from all enemy fighters, and you can subtract the value of this ability from that 6 inch to a minimum of 0. That is insane. So generally, you're going to be wanting, if you've got a quad 5, you're going to be able to deploy back in combat with this ability, because obviously you can have... sorry, you would need the 6 to get in combat because you would have to be more than an inch away. But yeah, it could be really, really powerful. If you get that quad 6, you can have a turn where you essentially take out, the best fighters, because you do have some really hard hitters in here. And speaking of hard hitters, we have the 5 members of the Blacktalons. So, as you can see here, we do have the different rune marks. So we've got Champion and Destroyer here, and then obviously Leader on Neve at the top. So this means the sort of ability of getting the extra bonuses only doesn't work if Lorelei, our Ideneth friend, is there. Nynaeve Blacktalon, she's 30 wounds, defense 5, what you expect from a Vanguard Chamber Stormcast. 10-inch range on a ranged attack with 3s, 4s, 1, 4 on the damage. Then she has 6 attacks, strength 5, 2, 4 on the damage. That's pretty solid. She maybe doesn't pack out quite as much of a punch as you might think, but 6 attacks at strength 5 is really nice. I always say this in a lot of the games, strength 5 is the new strength 4. You really need it with some of the other warbands in the game, and especially some of the tougher sort of abilities we have going around now. I think without strength 5, you are in a really big pickle. Because you just have so much defense 4, and indeed, looking at these guys, look at all the defense 5 and 6. You then have Hendrik the Silver Wolf, who's going to have 25 wounds at defense 5, and he has a couple of different ranged weapons, so both 1 inch, which is really interesting. So you can either have 4 attacks at strength 4, 2, 4 on the damage, or 3 attacks at strength 5, 2, 5 on the damage. This is really interesting because this is one of the first times I can remember seeing this, if the only time I can remember seeing this, where a fighter has 2 combat profiles where he can choose to either get more attacks firing sort of lesser foes or higher strength if needed. This is really cool because this does allow him to operate in different sort of roles within your force. Shikana Goldenbane is obviously where we get the shooting from. She has a 3 to 15-inch range with 4 attacks at strength 3, 1, 2 on the damage at range. Though obviously that damage there can be increased quite significantly with the value added to the crits and hits. So really, really cool stuff. A strong like 4, 5, or 6 can make those ranged attacks suddenly really, really powerful. And she still is a Stormcast in combat. 3 attacks, strength 4, 2, 4 on the damage is decent. Most people would not shirk at that at all. And then 25 wounds, defense 5, solid. We then have something I probably should have mentioned about Neve as well. She has movement 7, which is insanely fast. It is up there with like cavalry and some of the fast-moving flyers in the game. She's going to be getting wherever she wants to. Roston Oxenhammer is 4 attacks at strength 6, 3, 6 on the damage, so a really big heavy hitter. He's going to be dealing with all the big things. 25 wounds, defense 6 there is really nice as well, making him, just a really solid actual tank that's going to be able to take hits and deliver them with really powerful force. Now, lastly, we have Lorelei, and she's got a few interesting things, because first of all, she's the one that provides that -1 attack bubble to your force, but also she has fly, which is really cool, because this is definitely going to help a lot of the other warband here. Something you will lack is the ability to fly if you don't get the quads for Neve to be able to use to move around the table. With Whirlwinds, you are going to rely on Lorelei potentially going and grabbing treasure or hunting down things if need be. Late game, I think she's a really important piece to have within the warband. She does have a ranged attack, which is the standard sort of wizard attack. 3 attacks, strength 3, 3, 7. Slightly better than the average one, but still, that same sort of roundabout profile. And 2 attacks, strength 3, 1, 3 on the damage in lead. Nothing to write home about there. It's not what she's for, though. 20 wounds still, though, is really nice. Though defense 3, she's, defense elf. All in all, I really, really dig the Blacktalons. I think there's some really interesting play with this warband. It might seem like low model counts, but we are definitely seeing lower model count now in Warcry than we maybe were. And some of the higher model count ones, like the Hunts of Hawaii, are maybe not the best performing ones anymore, as numbers maybe don't have the efficiency on the table they once had. Definitely going with, your high damage dealers is really a solid player. All in all, though, I'm really keen to get these on the tabletop. I want to get these on the tabletop for the channel sometime soon when I can find a way to get them put in my schedule. But what are your thoughts on the Blacktalons? I'd love to hear from everyone down in the comments below. If you've got some games in with them, what you thought about them. I think they're going to be decently strong. Maybe not right up there. They lack a few bits and pieces, like some true movement across the table. Are definitely relying, I think, on Wind Rider to really do some damage. Same with Headshot is going to be really important to get that triples and quads. I think if they get too many doubles, they're not really going to be able to make much use of Storm of Justice, though it could really help. Yeah, they're an interesting warband. I think they're solid, like a B tier warband. With, if they roll hot, they're like S tier though. So really fun warband. Let us know your thoughts about them though down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our great little community here, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description, and also linked down there are the best ways to help support the channel as well. Our Patreon and YouTube members down there are fantastic ways to help support the channel, and if you'd like to get a shout out like all these people, you can go and join up today. So with that said, we'd like to give a shout out to all our Patreon and YouTube members. So thank you to our Patreons: Rob B, Broken Chef, Andy C, Grimscold, Colorblind Magic, Benjamin Swallows, James Cater, Mark Harvey, Domir, Average Wargamer, Q Damac, Andrew Bowen, Outer and Shot First, Kenny Lowe and Soren, and to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, James Tillman, Disco, John Castle, and Gargamel196. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.